Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast exploring Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship. Now, they're going to hear that twice.
Why is that?
Because it's on the audio.
Oh, they're going to hear this again then. They're going to hear our intro again.
They're going to hear the intro again.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Yeah.
Just in case, like, partway through you forget who we are, don't worry. We'll let you know.
And you know, it's better than doing something one time.
Doing it two times.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. And
isn't that what they say? Don't measure, cut twice?
Yeah, never measure.
Cut twice.
Now, but if you're good, you'll do it in the first try. If you're just good. Nah, I'm not that good. I don't. Yeah, man, we are back from California. That was a blast.
That was fun, man. I loved it, enjoyed it. The weather was cruddy, but the people were great.
No, the weather was perfect.
What? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, the weather was perfect. Once we landed, clouds rolled in with us and blocked out the sun. Perfect. And then it rained on conference day. Perfection. I love that.
Oh, I hated that.
Oh, yeah, you want to be in the sun.
I want to be in the sun.
I'm always trying to find shade, and you're always trying to find sun.
Yep.
That's why we never sit together when we're outside somewhere.
Essentially, I'm just like this beached whale, just like...
And I'm like some troll hiding in a cave. Man, all right. So what we're going to do here is we recorded a live episode of Doctrine and Devotion. I don't know how good it was. I don't really remember. We talked about can men and women be friends?
Yeah.
So, but we're going to link to some good articles. So if what we said is just kind of, well, you got some good articles to read.
Read the articles
yeah.
then. That'll cover all our bases.
But we had a really good time, and we wanted to let you guys know how it went because we're going to do another regional conference.
What?
It's going to happen in early 2020. In fact, it's going to happen 2020. It's going to happen on March 20.
March 20th?
March 20th in Texas.
Burleson, Texas. So right outside Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah, Dallas-Fort Worth. We've already got people that have started to find out, and they're like, we will be there. We couldn't come to this thing, but we're definitely going to come to the next one. And so we're really excited about it. So thought we'd walk you through how it went, what went down, obviously, we flew in, coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jimmy didn't appreciate that too much.
What?
I'm used to it. You didn't complain.
No.
Complain
I just sat there watching my movies.
You
on
watched
my iPhone.
Such bad movies.
And you were making fun. I had it like rigged up like MacGyver.
The rigging was fine. You had your new iPhone, the 11 Plus.
Whatever it is.
Future edition.
We don't have to
know
go
what it
into
is.
things.
I got the new 11 too, so I'm almost balling.
Yeah, you got the Max as well.
I just got the little 11. So flew in, flight no problem, landed nice and early.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we do? Did we go to the hotel first?
No, we went to the cigar shop.
Of course,
first.
we went to the cigar shop first, and met Sean, nice guy there.
Yep,
runs the place, and we hung out. We had terrible fast food because we didn't know that there was In-N-Out Burger around the corner.
No, we did not. So we had Del Taco.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And,
we want to delete that taco.
Yeah, it was delete taco. And so we did that, and then we went to the hotel. Jimmy.
What?
You stay in a lot of hotels.
Yes, I do, yeah.
I stay in a fair number of hotels.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rank the hotel that you chose for us on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the nicest hotel you ever stay in. 5 being a decent hotel that you and I would stay in. And 1 being the worst conceivable hotel you can imagine in your mind.
Well, probably an hour ago, we got an email from the hotel.
No.
Asking us, do you want to rate your experience?
Oh, yes, we would.
And I did.
What rating did you give them?
I think number 1, very dissatisfied was what they said. Very dissatisfied. It was the worst hotel I have ever been at. Ever.
Now, that's not saying much because, Jimmy, you travel in style. It's the worst hotel I've ever stayed in.
No. Even when I stayed in Uganda, in the village.
Doesn't count.
No, that was better than this.
Oh, I know. But it still doesn't count because it's a different country, different context, different culture. I stayed in a lot of hotels, motels. This was the worst. They didn't even have ice on the premises. Not one ice maker in the whole hotel.
So it was just...
It was dirty.
It was gross. It was dirty. It smelled of urine and despair. It was just, and I just had regret. I'm trying to
the beds. Listen, how loud were those beds?
The those beds.
They didn't squeak. They screamed when you sat on them. I've never experienced that before. But we did have a nice closet.
Oh, a closet that didn't have a door, but a shower curtain.
It had a privacy curtain on that.
It had a shower curtain. I just couldn't believe it. The shower had no water pressure.
No.
The kitchen had no utensils.
The shower was it would be like if another person was just breathing hot air on you. That's the extent of the water flow that came out of that thing. But nevertheless, that could not damper our awesome experience.
Yeah, except for the crackhead early in the morning, that lady.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Uber driver was like, what is going on?
I knew we were in a weird hotel when we walk in, and the very first thing she asks is, how many pets do you have? We're like, none? Is that a thing? Everybody had pets. Yeah, it was weird. And yeah, there was like a woman out there. I don't know. It was strange. We can't get into all that. It was strange. It was strange.
I have never
ever
experienced. But listen, I'll tell you this. I'm glad we shared a room, though.
Yeah, that's not going to happen again.
No. No, because we'll have better rooms next time. But I'm really thankful because, like, I'm thinking to myself, he's by the door. He'll get hit first.
I was by the door.
I was thinking, if something's going down, Joe gets hit first.
Yeah, but you'll get hit second because you're not getting past him. You're stuck in the room.
No. I'm going out that window.
Oh yeah, it is pretty thin.
I did look out that window. There was a thing right there.
Yeah, it was. We were only on the second floor, so you'd be okay. Well, we left the hotel and we went to Chris Pobletti's house.
Yeah, never forgetty.
Man, you can't forget Chris Pobletti because honestly, he's the reason this whole conference happened.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Chris and Alyssa. They and King's Cross, the church there. They just they were. And the Bridge Church, they were just so wonderful to us, so welcoming. I mean, so Friday night, they go ahead and put on this hangout, this fantastic hangout.
At Chris's house.
And I got to tell you, I love our listeners.
Yeah,
I love the people that come. I mean, people were showing up. They brought snacks. I think not Alyssa. I'm sorry. It was Alicia.
Alicia Knits is her Instagram handle.
Yeah, so Alicia makes Doctrine and Devotion cookies.
With the logo.
Oh,
they were good.
They were really good. They were so good.
Here's the thing. Tons of female listeners. Now, we actually get that sense because of the correspondence that we get, of course. Lots of fan mail, like lots of hearts, perfumed ink, all that stuff. But
I don't think we've ever had.
No, that's never happened. But we do get a lot of feedback from our female listeners. But when you have the hangout, it's a cigar hangout. Tons of ladies were there.
Yep.
And it was I was just really encouraged by the caliber of Christians that were there. And
just hearing from them, like, because I don't know, I always feel really silly in the sense that this podcast is a lot of things Joe and I do and say is like, it's funny to us.
Right.
And we know we could come off pretty immature from time to time.
Especially Jimmy.
And I think to myself, like, no one's listening to this. No one, especially not, the lady folks.
Spiritual women.
Exactly. Like mature spiritual women. And yet they're listening.
Yeah, they are.
You would think they're tired of all the bickering because they've got kids all day.
Well, do you remember somebody brought us flowers and a book to help us with...
well, she brought you flowers.
No, she brought us flowers, and they were clearly for you. Then you threw a fit in, so she gave them to me.
No. I got a picture of it.
Yeah.
She wanted to give the podcast wife some flowers, and that was really kind of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope you liked them.
Well, they were very sweet. She was awesome. Man, I think that the hangout was cool because everybody there loves the church. They love their local church. Some of them are transitioning. They're at a new church, right? That they're getting into now. Got to meet Matt Carbonara.
Yep,
that was awesome.
Got to see him again.
Yeah, I've never met him though.
Oh, at the last conference?
No, we didn't connect.
Oh, you didn't connect.
Yeah, I was a little busy in the green room hiding.
See, I like to go ahead and talk to people.
Yeah, I did that this time.
Yeah,
it's very tiring.
And you hated it.
No, I didn't hate it. It's just very tiring. The people, man, they're just, I don't know. It makes me super excited to do more of these because the large conference that we do every year, which is coming together for 2020 in the fall here in Chicagoland.
We'll release the dates there pretty soon.
We're going to release the speaker soon. We're working out the details there.
Yep.
But man, you get to meet everybody, hang out. It was really good. And went home, went to the hotel hell. And next day, got up, had some good coffee, good breakfast, and went to the Bridge Church. Now, the Bridge Church Is that a Reformed Baptist church, Jimmy?
No, it's a Foursquare church.
Okay, so it is a charismatic church.
Yeah.
And they were helpful, professional, delightful, serious-minded about spiritual things. They went above and beyond, and they were such a blessing, man. Such cool people.
Such a blessing.
And except when Jimmy said he didn't like charismatic people during one of his messages. But it was great, man. All these people come from all over California and LA.
Yeah.
And the conference went off really smoothly.
What do you mean, and LA? LA is in California.
No, it's not.
Really? Yeah. Los Angeles is not in California?
No, it's its own thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you have to give it proper. Yeah, I might have meant Las Vegas. Las Vegas is what I was really
Yeah, we were talking about Bradley. Okay.
Yeah. So the conference went off really, really smoothly. Jimmy and I were able to preach. Lagos was there, gave a great presentation.
Damn, Sean killed it.
Man, I know some of you people were out there picking up and expanding your packages with Lagos. That was really great. Good lunch. We had In-N-Out that was brought in. That was really nice. And then we went and we hung out afterwards. We grabbed a couple cigars with a few guys, and we were destroyed.
We were done.
I haven't been that tired in a long time.
Yeah,
but it was a good experience. And if you guys are in Texas, close to Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area, March 20, 2020, we're going to do it again.
It's going to be great, man.
But it's going to be different content. We're going to have more stuff. So stay tuned. And we did get the audio recorded, but I have to talk to Chris to see how we can get that to us. So
yeah.
We'll be sure and release our first two messages because the last two were very good. We'll see.
We'll see. Maybe we'll release them.
Now, Jimmy, we've got this conversation that we had, brief convo on can men and women be friends?
Yep.
And we did this because, well, it's a perennial topic, right? In the world and in the church. It's something that people frequently bring up. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, no, a lot of people say, no, you can't be friends with men and women because there's always going to be some sort of attraction or expectation that isn't fair, blah, blah, blah. And then there are those who would argue, no, we can be friends. But you have to, define what that is, have proper boundaries and parameters, just like you do with every friendship. And we wanted to talk about that because we do have friends that are male and female in the church, outside of the church. But how that functions and what that looks like is going to be different than the friendships that I have with women are different than the friendships that I have with men. Yeah. And the friendships that I have with some men are different than the relationships I have with other men. So that's not a weird thing. It's actually a good thing. And we've got some good articles by Jen Wilkins and Paul
Maxwell, yeah.
Maxwell. I almost call it Alexander. That's a different Paul. Mm-hmm. Much less muscular.
Yeah, much less.
Sure. Yeah, it's the anti-Maxwell when it comes to muscles. So we hope you guys enjoy it. We do want to hear what you have to think about it. So be sure and hit us up on social media and all of that. And what else, Jimmy? Are we gonna do more of these regional things?
I think we should.
We should.
I think we should. We already got Dallas, and Atlanta might be in the works.
People are asking, like, what about over on the East Coast? Well, there's a small section of the eastern part of the country, southeastern part of the country, where that would work. And so, stay tuned. Let us know. And also, let us know what kind of topics you would like us to cover at these regionals, because we want to make the audio available at $19.95 for each, session.
Stop it. No.
Well, make it available for free if you can't make it, and we'll put that out there because it was really good for us, spiritually rewarding for us, encouraging. We love our listeners. We're so grateful for all of you. And we look forward to meeting more of you at these regionals and at the annual meeting that we're going to have here in Chicagoland in the fall of 2020.
All right, guys. Here's the live recording. Later.
Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast exploring Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
Where we at?
We are here at Rancho Santa Margarita.
Woo!
Doing the Doctrine and Devotion West.
West Coast Conference, Best Coast Conference. We've had coffee. We've had In-N-Out Burger. We've had awesome fellowship conversations with cool people.
All right fellowship, yeah.
No, really good fellowship. There's been a couple of weirdos.
Mediocre.
Mostly good, though. And, one of the things that we did when we got here was we had a hangout at, whose house was it?
Chris Pobletti.
Never forget it.
Mom Spaghetti.
Chris Pobletti. So we met with Chris and his wife Alyssa, and we hung out. We had tacos at their house, even though we had tacos for lunch. Thanks, guys. And
so as one does in California.
Yeah. So it was really good tacos. But then we had a hangout. And so if people registered for the conference, if they wanted to come and hang out at the Pobletti's house, they were able to do that. We shared the address.
Yeah.
Everybody made it except for Sean from Lagos because he's easily confused.
And we showed up at the location, got up and left thinking it was not the right location.
Because it's a house? I don't know.
He's like, you thought you were going to a house party? You're like, never mind. Yeah. I'm out. So texting us, where are you guys at?
One of the things that happened that night was, we met a lot of people that we hadn't met before, people that we knew online.
Yeah.
And we're just consistently surprised by the number of ladies that actually listen to the podcast and enjoy it. They don't just listen to it because their husbands listen to it and they have to because they're in the car at the same time or something. They actually like the podcast.
And I don't know why. Like, my wife hates it. Oh, you like it? My wife hates it.
No, my wife doesn't listen.
She does.
No.
I think they get annoyed. You would think, like, for the ladies that have children, you deal enough with that immaturity. Why do you then, welcome more immaturity in your daily life?
I think that our wives they have of their fill of it. They got it. They got enough of the Jofo, so they don't need extra. And this is extra.
We had like this group text thread, Joe, Jen, my wife, Michelle, and I. And about a week later, they both left it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they don't want to be on it.
I was like, I guess it's just Joe and I in this thread.
Mm-hmm. But we've added Steve McCoy recently.
We brought in Steve McCoy, the McCoy Pond.
All right. So this kind of brought up something that has been talked about quite a bit. I mean, it's been in movies like When Harry Met Sally, I think it was. There's been a lot of movies. Can men and women be friends, right? And you've seen articles posted at everywhere from, Desiring God to podcasts have been done on this. And there are different opinions that are oftentimes bandied about. And we thought, we should talk about this because, we really try to champion the value of friendship.
Yeah.
Not just for us, but for all people, even though we have the best friendship, they can have,
some of it. You can have
a
some
little
of it.
bit. Now, Jimmy, when it comes to the world, it seems to me that a lot of people in the world, not everybody, but a lot of them suggest men and women can't really be friends. Is that what you see? I mean,
that's the way I see it. It's almost like if they are friends, it's because the dude's trying and he's in the friend zone. So he doesn't really want to be a friend, but, he can never attain the status that he wants. Apparently that happened to Michael? Matthew, see? Again, the twins. That apparently he made it out of the friend zone.
So you
Congratulations,
climbed
Matthew.
out of the friend zone. Okay.
Yeah, good job for you. So, but yeah, I mean, they kind of put it that you're either in the friend zone or you're trying to
connect
right, on a certain level.
Now,
See, Joe, when a man loves a woman,
right,
Okay, I was going to help you.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I got 4 kids, man. I'm good. I know how it works. Now, here's the thing. So a lot of people are saying, not everybody, but a lot of people are saying in the world, men and women can't really have legitimate friendships without the desire, at least on the part of one person, for it to be more than a friendship.
Yeah, there's no sense that there could be an actual pure friendship, one that's just cordial, one that is...
platonic is the word that oftentimes is used.
Yeah, there you go. Platonic. I just learned about that, yeah.
So it also, though, seems like the church gets confused about this. And so you have, we did a whole episode on the Billy Graham rule and how that sort of looks to some people and how some people implement it in certain ways.
Or this is the guy's side of the church. Here's the girl's side of the church. Or
no, we're okay in here.
I think we're doing, you guys are mixing.
It's good.
Maybe you're in sin.
Now, for the church, though, the church to be asking this question, I think is really good. In fact, our friend... wrote an article. It's like Jen Wilkins has written on this, but our friend Paul Maxwell wrote an article on this very subject for Desiring God back in 2016. We're going to link to that in the show notes because he raises some really good questions. Now, our basic answer is we think that men and women can and should be friends, especially in the church, especially as Christians. But we really have to start to unpack what it means to be a friend, right? Because there are expectations within every relationship. And so even if it's like Jimmy and I have expectations of one another to tell the truth, to be an advocate for one another, to hold one another accountable, we have certain expectations to lay off. Like, okay, here's what happened. The day before we left for the conference, I had a giant zit on the end of my nose. Okay.
All right. This is not fair.
I had a giant. No, I'm complimenting you.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So I had a giant zit, and we got into the car, right? Because Jimmy got us a stretch limo to go to the airport because that's what Jimmy does.
Okay.
And did we drive in a stretch limo to the? Did we? Yeah, we did.
The company likes me.
So, okay. So we're taking a stretch limo to the airport, but it's dark in there, so he can't see. And so I said, listen, before the sun comes up, we're on the way to the airport.
Before the sun comes up.
You just need to know. Don't talk about the giant zit on my nose. I got a big zit on the end of my nose. It's very embarrassing, just in time for the conference. So, like, just don't give me a hard time about the zit. And Jimmy was like, totally. That's totally. I understand. I got you.
Which is why it's not fair that you get to bring it up and I couldn't the whole time. Okay,
well, you did bring it up like 5 times. You made fun of the zit on the end of my nose, just privately.
Yeah, I did it
not publicly, which I appreciated. So we have expectations, parameters around which we operate. So there are always parameters in every relationship. And so if you have a relationship, any kind of a friendship with somebody, whether it's a person of the same sex or the opposite sex, there are going to be some limitations, some boundaries, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's things that I will talk about and share with Joe that I wouldn't share with my female friends. You know, there's things that even issues or concerns or arguments that Michelle and I have, I don't share that with my female friends. I only share that with Steve and Joe when he's available. I mean, because there's a certain level there of transparency that I don't think is appropriate. I guess is that there? Yeah.
Well, maybe a better word is a certain level of intimacy.
There you
right?
Go.
Because we are friends with the ladies of Redeemer Fellowship because the ladies of Redeemer Fellowship are awesome. We have awesome,
amazing,
and strong, godly women, and so we consider them friends.
And I mean, they made the best choice of marrying like men like us.
Obviously,
and so they're just really, really
good job, ladies,
and blessed.
Now. So Paul has this article, and he says, you've got to. He said, consider some of these relationships: single woman and a married man. Can a single woman and a married man have a friendship? Yes, but again, we have to define the parameters and ask, what constitutes an appropriate level of intimacy versus an inappropriate level. So, married woman, single man, married woman, married man, single woman, single man. And he argues that you really have to weigh the risks of the relationship. You have to implement necessary and loving boundaries into the relationship. And every relationship has that. So it's not like we're saying women are bad or men are bad and we have to have boundaries. Every relationship has to have boundaries. And so you want to have them, but they need to be loving, necessary. And he says you want to reap the unique Christ-exalting benefits from those unique relationships. So for us, I mean, that's what we're saying here. Like, we're going to have parameters, and maybe that means for a married guy, like I don't have text threads between me and another woman who is a friend, but I do very, very regularly text a particular woman in our church. I send her scary clown pictures before bedtime. Now, I also...
Joe is, he's a romantic at heart.
Well, listen. I include her husband in that text thread, which he hardly approves that I do this to her. I send her scary clown pictures at night because she's terrified of clowns, and then she sends me awful pictures of spiders in response. We are friends. But there's a parameter that we just put in place, and we're just not into the habit of just communicating on the regular privately.
So, yeah, I mean, you bring up a good, so Michelle and I are really close to this couple at our church, Greg and Allison.
Oh, the Earls.
The Earls, yes.
What a regal name they have.
Yeah, he's not really that hot stuff. But
he's handsome.
He
is handsome, though.
He's all right. Yeah, he's better than Boujde, you're right. And so we're really close to the Earls, and we hang out probably 2-3 times a week with this family.
That's a lot.
Well, we're really close.
Wow. All right. No, it sounds fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Don't know what that's like.
And so, we all text back and forth with each other. But if there's something that, we want to talk about without Greg or something like that, if I have to talk to Allison, I don't just text Allison one-on-one. Either Michelle's there or Greg's there on the text thread. And that's just, for me, it's one of these things that if I'm talking to somebody, one of those parameters is my wife knows that conversation. She has access to my phone at any time, right? She knows the password. She knows the code. She knows all that. She could check and look at whatever is on my phone, my computer. And that's just the parameters that we put in place and the boundaries that we have.
For example, what you even talk about. So, there are women in the church that, I'm friends with, and maybe they're in my community group or whatever. I don't complain to them about my marriage. And I will complain to Jimmy about my marriage.
Jen, he does not complain often.
And if it's my fault, if I do, thank you.
Yeah, he always blames himself.
Because it's all me all the time.
That was close, Joe. That was close.
But you can understand why. You can understand that, in any given relationship, there are risks inherent in it.
Yeah.
And so you put in these protocols and to be safe. And so, like, again, I know some people are going to push back and say, like, oh, you just can't be honest with a friend of the opposite sex about the state of your marriage. You can, but there are levels of intimacy. And by the way, even my wife would say that she thinks it's inappropriate in general, for a woman to complain to another woman about the failures of her husband. In general, she would say, I think that's inappropriate. I don't think women should do that.
Man, you got her on lockdown.
Man, she's a good lady. Makes me look good. Now, but then there are relationships where you can actually talk very openly with a person who may be able to help you through some of those struggles that your husband
And
may
see,
have.
but the thing that we have to also consider when we're talking about friendships is in the church, there's that family dynamic within the church. Like
Family of God.
The family of God. We're called to be we are the family of God, and we're called to be a family. And so, I mean, that changes our viewpoint of those around us, right? It's not just like in the movies where the guy's trying to get out of the friend zone and into the end zone. He's looking at her as this is my sister, right?
Yeah.
This is my sister in Christ.
And that's where the church can show the world, right? We don't think of somebody of the opposite sex merely as a sexual object or merely as a person to potentially marry.
Yeah.
We view people as individuals. We're made in the image of God, who therefore have worth and value and dignity, and much more so as Christian men and women in the church. That is my family. That is my sister for whom Jesus died. This is someone that God has called me to love, serve, bless in a righteous way. So I think the church should be more equipped than any other group in the world to show that men and women can, in fact, have healthy friendships. Again, got to define what that means and sort of flesh that out. But one of the things that I would say is, if we're going to talk about friendships and what you should expect from them in general. Now, we want to be thinking about this as it relates to men and women, but this should be true of all friendships, right? So when I think of friendship, Jimmy, one of the things that I think about is a good expectation. A friendship within the Christian life should be spiritually encouraging.
Yeah.
Right? It shouldn't just be like we like to hang out and crack wise, which we do, and we do that a lot. But you are a spiritually encouraging brother to me. You don't let me sit and, wallow in maybe like self-doubt or pity or sin or whatever. You will encourage me or correct me. You will point me to Scripture.
And correct, yeah.
Lots of correction. Even today, I was complaining about how long the guy in front of me was ordering breakfast. Taking forever. I don't know what his deal was. Just taking forever.
Joe complains about
what kind of a donut is this?
everything.
Is that a chocolate donut? And I'm thinking, like, it's obviously not a chocolate donut, bro. It's a cinnamon donut. You don't even have to taste it. You can look at it and see it's a cinnamon donut. He was taking forever. So I was complaining. And then
Took
Jimmy,
him 2 minutes.
No, it felt like 20. The point is that once we sat down, Jimmy was like, boy, look at you. Aren't you a little baby? Aren't you being a little demanding, a little uptight about things? And it was a funny and friendly way of him to actually say, check yourself, right? So spiritual encouragement, if you are going to have a friendship with somebody, male or female, you should expect and work toward it being something that is spiritually encouraging.
And along those lines, it should be mutually beneficial, right? It should be a two-way friendship, in that you're not the only one just always giving, right? Yeah. You're not the only one that's always initiating. You're not the only one that's always sacrificing. There should be some, it should be beneficial to you as well. But in the same way, you can't be that selfish friend that is only receiving, right? Yeah. And that you're not encouraging them and initiating with them and taking care of them and seeing, how could you be praying for them, with them, and encouraging them in their day-to-day.
Now, some people are just really needy, and they're going to go through seasons where you are going to be pouring more into them. But then at other times, there are people that are greedy, and they're just going to take everything they can from you.
And that's just draining.
Yeah. It's not healthy. It's not a proper friendship. And I've seen it where, a strong spiritual woman is, in a very Christ-centered way, befriends a dude, and the dude is just a taker. He's either he's hurting, or he's wayward, or he's in trouble, or he needs help, but he becomes a drain on that person and not feeding into her. That friendship needs to be checked for sure. I would say that a friendship is something in which you should be able to expect honesty. right? So, for example, that you can confess your concerns, your fears, your hesitations, your struggles, and again, there are going to be boundaries and there's going to be limitations. So you can't necessarily share everything that is happening in your mind and in your heart with every friend that you have. But you've got to know you've got to know what you can share. And in whatever you do share, you've got to be honest. Because if you're not, then they can't properly assess what you need, and they can't properly assess what they should be sharing with you. So honesty is, I think, a real big one.
I think finally there should friendship should be safe, right? It should be one where there's the appropriate level of confidentiality, right? That when someone's sharing with you and sharing what's going on in their life, that you're not sharing that, just as a prayer request with those around you. But also, the individual should know that you have their back, right? That they should know that you care for them enough that you would protect them, that you would do anything to make sure that they're flourishing and that they're protected.
Ultimately, the scripture has a lot to say about friendship. A lot. And nowhere does it put restrictions on friendship between the sexes. Now, of course, there are boundaries and parameters that should exist in all of our relationships, but ultimately, a friend loves at all times, right? There is, for example, a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So you could see the need for friendships in our lives. The scripture says a lot about it, but not every friendship is beneficial. Paul quotes a proverb of the day, bad company corrupts or ruins good morals. So we have to be careful in the people that we're choosing, right? Because, you could choose a friend of the same sex and it can ruin your life, or you could choose a person of the opposite sex and it can ruin your life, or a healthy friendship that is governed by Scripture, directed to the glory of God, seeks the good of the other person. You can have friendships with men and women that are honoring, that are fruitful. And so we just want to go on record. We're going to link to some articles that are going to help you think through it.
Maybe.
We want to go. No, it's going to happen. I've already got them. I got them right here. I got Jen Wilkins's. I got Paul Maxwell's. I got them all.
Paul is my jam.
He's our jam. But we do want to hear, do you, online, do you have friends in your church that are of the opposite sex? And if you do, how do those work? Are there parameters that you have? Or maybe you think we're completely off base. Feel free to make yourself look silly and disagree with us on social media. Jimmy, how do they do that?
Yeah, you could follow us online on Instagram or Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, doctrinedevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast or hit up the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. Big thanks to Logos for sponsoring this year's conference, the 2019 Doctrine and Devotion West Conference.
Yeah, actually, the brother's going to come up here in just a minute and share some ideas and some opportunities with you guys. Jimmy?
Oh, hold on. We'll do that after.
We'll do that all the way after?
Yeah. Okay. Fresh pod every Monday and
Why
Thursday.
do you want to do it now?
Because the people out there listening online don't care.
They were good.
All right, guys, later.